Well guys, it's the most exciting time of the year for me. It's time to break out the boat, time to break out the new boat. And today I just want to go through a quick video. I get a lot of questions generally on the setup of my boat, kind of how I go through everything. So this is my first day on the water in my new 219 GL. This is a Lund model. I've been running this boat for 4 years. I do get a new one every year. I'm a full-time fishing guide by trade, so that's my job. This is a business for me. So this boat is incredibly important. It needs to stand up to what I put it through every day, and I need it to make a living. So I'm fishing a lot, a lot from middle of March here all the way to the beginning of December. So this boat goes through hell and back with me, and I really like this setup. For what I do personally, I think this is the best boat that I've found in the market to fit what I do personally with muskies, walleyes, and smallmouth. But basically I just want to show you guys the whole setup. I did a lot of little different things this year, made some big changes, but we're going to go through all of it here real quick and show you guys the setup for this year's boat. So first off, we got to start here at the dash. I've got two Humminbird units here. These are both Solix 12s. I've obviously got my side imaging rolling here on the top, and then I've got my GPS here on the bottom. These units, generally I used to do a 10-inch in a flush mount in the dash, and the 10-inch was just kind of small. I didn't really care for it too much, and with this tray it allows me to be able to run a small 12-inch unit on the bottom and a 12 on the top. So I've got two units here. These are going to be for side imaging and mapping primarily. Obviously I can play with my different features, but these two are probably going to be what these screens are on 90% of the time. When I'm trolling, I want a full display of side imaging, and then I've got my full display of my mapping so I can hit all my waypoints. Could do a 2D or a split with that as well, but this screen up here is specifically for side imaging, and by far, guys, the mega side imaging is by far the most important thing in my boat when it comes to fishing. But we got a lot of cool features in here, but this is kind of my cockpit area where I'm at. Love running the AutoChart live chip in here. I got that rolling right now, and we're on the river, guys. It's spring is here. It's super exciting. So one other thing too here on the dash is I do have an iTroll here for my trolling for my kicker motor. So that's actually wired into my kicker. It's an electrical or a digital throttle, so I can really fine tune in my speed. I got to get a mount for that yet. That's in the mail. It's coming. But some of this stuff was really hard to get, so I mean I've got 99% of the stuff already, so that I just have to get a mount for. But that's basically what's here on my dash. I got my main throttle, I got my kicker throttle here on the bottom, all my gauges, whatnot. I've got my trim tabs right here, I've got my jack plate here, but really nice clean setup. I really like it. There's a little tray down here to put stuff as well I didn't used to have with that flush mount, so that's nice as well. So that's kind of the dash, and we're going to take you guys up to the front of the boat. All right guys, up here in the front of the boat I've got a 72-inch 112 Tarova US 2. This is, this is the most reliable trolling motor I've found. It's personally my favorite. I love it just for the fact that it comes in and out manually. It's super durable. I can run a cord to the back for where I fish for my foot pedal. But these things have just been super solid to me. I do have a 360 on here as well. This is the Cornfield Karapi gear mount. So I can run 360 on here. That's really crucial. That's an amazing piece of technology that I use a lot for all species. Like I said, again, smallmouth, and muskies. So that's really nice. One thing too with the 360 is you get a lot of cables up here. So this is just a T&H troll jacket. It kind of keeps all your stuff together, neat and organized, so you don't have a bunch of cables laying all over, tripping on, or getting stuff caught in. So that's kind of nice, keeps that tied up. And then this right here is super important. This is a T&H troll tamer. This stabilizer is rock solid, and the reason I really like it is because when you take this trolling motor up, this peg comes with it. So when I deploy this motor, now that peg went with the trolling motor, and I've just got this little puck here, okay? I don't have anything sticking up that's gonna catch a net if I'm netting a fish or any of that. And the tab here, I make sure it's always pointed out, because when I go to net a fish, the net will always push over that, and you don't have any issue with that. If it was flipped around, that tab sometimes could catch a net. So it's very important to make sure that tab is pointed out, okay? But this front deck, guys, is absolutely huge, and I love this about this boat. I can fit 10-foot rods in my rod locker just due to the length of it. I take the ends of the tubes off, so I can get 10-footers in there. I can fit 6 10-foot rods in this rod locker here, and then obviously it's got another 3 levels below that. So really love the huge rod locker. This storage right here in the front is also awesome. This compartment is absolutely huge. It's one full piece, whereas a lot of boats have this compartment split. Okay, so this being actually one full piece is really nice. I myself have laid in here and been able to shut the lids, if that says anything about how much space is in there. So really love that. There's a ton of storage in this boat, and that's really huge for me. being a guy needing to have a bunch of equipment with me at all times. On the other side, we've got another split. This one's split on this side. I've got all my life jackets in this one, and we've got a bait well slash cooler back here, okay? But this is kind of the front deck. This is where everything kind of happens. I've got a heading sensor over here for my graphs. So a heading sensor, what that allows me to do is it shows me the direction that my boat is actually facing. So generally, say if I'm in a river situation like this and I'm drifting, if you were to look at your GPS without a heading sensor, it would show that I'm floating down, like pointed down river going, because that's the motion or the, you know, the way the boat is moving. Once with that, it actually shows me that I'm sitting sideways, and that it'll still show the bow of my boat, the icon on my graph, actually pointed parallel here to the current. So it'll actually show me, you know, which direction it is. So if I'm out in the middle of, say, the lake, and I don't have something to cast at, I can look at my graph, see where the waypoint is if I'm casting to a specific spot, and then make an angled cast, you know, off of that. So for $100, that feature is really, really nice. And I do a lot of drifting, so that's something that was huge to me. I need to, you know, I've had that on my last few boats. It's really nice for understanding kind of what's going on and where everything is in correlation to your GPS or your boat. I've obviously got a tool holder up here for some pliers and scissors, and that's about it for up here. And now we're gonna take you guys back to the back of the boat. Lots of stuff going on back there. All right, guys, here in the back of the boat, we got 3 13-inch apexes. All right, some of you guys are gonna say, yeah, it's overkill, this, that, and the other. With all the technology we have today, you really, honestly, if you want to do it right, and like I said, this is a business for me, and I need to put people in the best position possible to catch fish, and that is having 3 units here in the back. I have 1 designated for Mega Live, 1 designated for Mega 360, and 1 designated for side imaging here in the back, okay? I fish right here in this back corner all the time, so that's where I fish. This is where I need all my units. I've got everything here at my fingertips. I don't have to step down to go look at a graph to get a closer look at something. Everything I need is right here, all right? I mount these with a 42-inch Cisco mount that goes in my Lund Sport Track here. And then from there, I mount a short E-size ram ball. And then that gives me kind of some movement, some adjustment that I can run these here. I really like this setup. The Sport Track's nice. I don't have to drill any holes into the boat, okay? It just goes into the track itself. No drilling, no holes. All I need is 1 hole for all my wires to come out of the side. All right, so that keeps them nice. I can take them on and off. When it comes to trolling season for me for muskies, and I'm trolling every day, I take these units off. There's no reason for them to be here. They just get in the way. So they can come off, in and off, without any drilling or anything harm to your fiberglass. Really like that feature. These are going to be cool. The Apexes have a little bit higher resolution, as well as they have screen recording. So I'm going to be able to do some video stuff for you guys, showing you what's going on with these screens, with this new technology, and I'm really, really excited about that. I've got obviously Trax Tech tracks on here, 4-footers, so I can swap out all my trolling stuff. I do have a Trax Tech TM1000 here. This is what I'm using for my live, okay? This here is my live pole. I've got my Mega Live deucer right here. And something else I'm playing with this year is a T&H Marine Hydro Wave, okay? Now this is something that kind of is in the bass world. It's an underwater speaker, and it sends out a bunch of different sounds and frequencies under the water. We're gonna see, I've got the controller for it right back here under my last unit, and we're gonna play with it. It's something, like I say, that's really big in the bass world. It's something I wanna play with for walleyes and muskies, as well as my smallmouth fishing. But two, I think it's gonna help up just cover up sonar noise. Obviously, we've got the Mega Live deucer, we've got our side image deucer, and we've got a 2D deucer. So there's a lot of noise underneath the water. And I think this is gonna try and, I'm gonna use this to try and cover that noise up so that this fish can't, you know, or aren't affected by the sonar noise so much. So normally these get mounted right on your trolling motor with, say, like an Ultrex. But with a Terova, I can't actually run this because it needs to slide. It needs to be mounted right to the shaft and with the power cable. So I mounted it right here on my TM1000. I obviously take this in and out of the water with this mount right here. All right, this here, guys, is a TM1000. This is made by Trax Tech. It's personally just fits in my track. It's kind of the best case scenario for me. I've got all my wires here kind of ran separately. I'm just trying to decide where I want this thing to sit. If I want it in my track here in front of my graphs, or if I want to move it to the back. I've got some other short pieces of track back there. So once I figure that out, I'll tidy these wires up. But I do have quick disconnects right here as well. So this is for my hydro wave, this is my sonar, and this is my power flip-flop. So if I need to move that for transport, long road trips, you know, moving from lake to lake or going to Canada, I can disconnect all that stuff. That's right there. So I just need to figure out where I want to fish with this thing, and then I'll tidy up these wires a little bit better, like we've got these ones here for all my units. But the Trackstack TM1000 is cool. It's kind of what I'm going to use for my Mega Live to see what's going on. I want it in the back of the boat because that's where I fish, and it'll give me the best idea of where these fish are with that live sonar. So excited about that, but we're going to get you guys here to the back deck and what's pushing this thing around. All right guys, here in the back, I did change my engine this year, okay? I've always ran a 350 Verado. This year I decided to go with the 300 Pro XS. Reason being is I want a more hole shot, and the V8 really gives you a better hole shot over the L6 or the Verado, just due to the supercharger. The supercharger with the Verado just takes a long time to spool up and doesn't give you that real nice hole shot. Me personally, I don't need the speed or the top end, because generally I'm dealing with big waves on Lake Michigan or the bigger bodies of water that I fish. I need hole shot. I've got a lot of equipment, I got a lot of people in the boat, so the hole shot with this is absolutely incredible. When I head out this morning, it just snaps out of the hole super quick. And I did put a jack plate on this boat. This is an Atlas TH Marine hydraulic jack plate with a 4-inch offset. I need that actually a recess in my rear here for my steering with this engine, so it has to be at least 4 inches back. So I want it to be hydraulic. The one that comes from the factory, it's a fixed one, but I do think the jack plate's going to help me in the rough water. Obviously I've got 2 trim tabs here in the back, which are super important for running rough water, but I think the jack plate as well is going to kind of almost act as a third jack plate, where I can play with the where my motor is in the water and really bury this boat down so I'm not getting so much bow slap. And when I get those days where it's 3, 4, 5 foot waves, I think that jack plate's going to make the ride a lot nicer. All right, I've got the standby 15 Pro kicker here on the starboard side of the boat, and why I put it on that side is because I always fish on my port side. So when I'm figure eight muskies and stuff, I don't want this anywhere near me. I want to be able to figure eight behind the boat, and I like having that kicker set off to this side. It's something it doesn't come standard from the factory. My dealer does that for me, but everything gets pushed over to the side. So I really like having my kicker on that side of the boat. It's really, really important for me. One other thing to me that's super important, and what I put in all my boats, is a just-in-case box. This here is actually a box that was originally designed for muskie fishing. There's a guy by the name of Bob who does these in Minnesota. This box is custom made to fit my boat. It's actually a rear deck extension, but also doubles as tackle storage. Generally what Bob has is I've got lift outs in here so that I can store all my muskie baits, but I can also take those lift outs out, and then I can put all of my Plano boxes in here with all my different baits, lures. I've got everything nice and organized. With the side compartments, they're nice, but you have to put your boxes on top of one another. So if you need the box that's the third one down, you have to pull up 2 other boxes before you can get to that. With this system, everything's right here, lifts straight up, you're good to go. I can grab whatever I need out of this just-in-case box. This is the 4th year I've had this. This box has went from each one of my boats. I just keep rotating it over. I've put this thing through hell and back. I've always had one in my boat. They're an absolutely awesome product. It's also a back deck extension, like I say, but I can still get my rear seats in here, which is important. Okay, so if I've got an extra customer, I generally put this seat in here, and then when muskie season does come around, I do have another box that actually squares this section off for more bait storage as well. So just in case, very, very cool product here, and something that I will have in all of my boats. Absolutely love what Bob does. One question I get asked a lot too is, how do I power all these units? And it's simple, guys. Dakota Lithium makes the best batteries in the world. I've got a 12 volt 200 amp hour battery here that's running as my house battery. It runs all 5 graphs. Okay, that's going to give me 14 hours of straight run time at full brightness, all 5 units on, doing their thing, and that's without charging in between spots and on the run. So I've got an isolator here in my engine that's going to charge these while I'm running, but 14 hours of continuous run time from that 12 volt 200 amp hour Dakota Lithium battery. That is absolutely incredible, and something that really makes this possible, or this whole setup work, as well as the trolling motor. That is a full system of 3 12 volt 100 amp hour Dakota Lithium batteries. Absolutely love those. I had them last year in my boat. I could not kill them for the life of me. Didn't matter, 18 20 hour days, still there was no weakness in my engine at all. That thing just powered through. It was absolutely incredible. So those batteries are worth the money. 11-year warranty as well, guys. So that's pretty incredible as far as batteries, and they do pay for themselves over 11 years. I can guarantee you that. All right, guys, well, that's a wrap for the new boat intro. I've actually got to pick up some customers here for a night trip. We're gonna go troll for some walleyes. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of the video here, we're gonna pump out a ton of content out of this boat this year. Really, really excited about that. And one thing I do have to mention too, guys, is big thanks to North Star Power Sports in Albert Lea, Minnesota. They're my boat dealer. I drive 6 hours there for a reason. They're incredibly good people to work with. They rigged up my boat. I was in a pinch last minute. They pulled through for me. I can't say enough good stuff about those guys. They do great work. If you guys are in the market for a Lawn Skeeter or an Alumacraft, Rob and those guys are really awesome to work with. Can't say enough about him and Josh and Aaron and the rest, or Eric and the rest of the guys there. So thanks for checking in, guys. I'm gonna go pick up my customers here, go get some walleyes, and thank you again so much for watching.